So now we have Charlie Tone and Joe Tone, two great stalwarts, former players. You did play. You have one of a medal up there with your name under it. But I suppose thanks, lads, for coming down tonight. I suppose I just want to start by asking about your memories and maybe even your earlier memories of GAA and Rosemount. What it was like.
Yeah, well, strange enough, my first memory was in Rosemount won 3 in a row. So in 1953, my first time I ever heard about football that I can remember. My father came in the door and he grabbed my mother and he started dancing around the kitchen. He says, 3 in a row, 3 in a row, 3 in a row, and I can still remember it. And then shortly after that, a picture of that team went up on our wall. It's black and white on the wall, and I was curious to know the colour, and I was asking my father what colour are the jerseys. But finally, he brought me down to Rosemount Park for my very first match. And do you know, I can still remember Sonny Carney scoring the goal. And I don't know whether it was a challenge or what it was, but Anthony Mullen was refereeing the game. I can still see them, even to this day. And I couldn't believe the jersey. And I said, Jesus, I'd be in that jersey as quick as I can, you know. And I think it was about 12 when I first of all wore the jersey for Rosemount playing a match against Tubber. But I had no boots, I wore shoes, and my mother got Mrs. Norris to make up a togs from the flour sacks. You know? So that's my first memory. So from there on, I was determined to play. And then, of course, you had the fierce incentive because Georgie Kane was a superman of our time, and to watch him playing and to listen to Sean O'Callaghan on a Sunday, giving out results. And if you heard Rosemount won a match, you'd be dancing around the kitchen, even though you knew already, you know. And then at the time we got to Sports Star of the Year, or First Star of the Week, after scoring 2-4 in the championship playing for Westmeath, yeah, I was driven mad to emulate him and to play for Rosemount. Yeah. And so I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed all the day. I started off, I think it was senior. I played when I was only 16, and it was unbelievable. And I suppose the football. My best part of life playing football for Rosemount was up to the under-21 grade. Like we won, I was on the team in '66, and we won the under-21 championship. That was just so good. And then in '69, I was captain. That was brilliant. And then in 1964, Rosemount, Castledalian, and Mount Temple made up a team called St. Bridget's, and the Dáil Gillivan was the captain, and we won the championship. And we had 3 or 4 from Rosemount playing in that team. Like, so that was a great thrill that time, you know.
Absolutely.
And then you're always thinking about Rosemount could ever win a championship. We never did in my time. I'll tell you this much. And I don't think there was ever a happier man ever when we won it in '89. It was just such a. You're waiting all your life. You're not involved in play, but you want to see it happen, and just to see that happen was just great. The other little thing there was when I was only 16. Well, it was say 17 in '65, but in January, like we would come out to the convention. Nobody would take the job, and I finished up walking out there, secretary of Rosemount GA Club at that age.
At 16.
At 16, and then going to county board meetings was just very hard.
A learning curve.
Learning everything, and then at that time, you see, communication was all about being able to write, because there's nothing else. Phone calls weren't even possible because I had no phone in the house around, like so.
And were you still in school at the time?
Yeah, I was in the second mode. Yeah, it's just a howl, and it was on the Westmeath minor team. It's playing for Rosemount, and it was on the minor team '65 and '66.
And say, who would have been the chairman of the club around that time, or who would have been on the committee?
Oh, geez, sure there was. Well, of course, Joe Kane was always there. Like John Byrne, people like that were there. There was. Oh, sure. Look, there was hardly anybody.
Yeah.
People dodged meetings to avoid.
Oh, Boland.
Yeah, Lawrence Boland. Actually, Lawrence Boland was, was one of my greatest supporters. He gave me tremendous encouragement, and I was always grateful to him, even though I often had bother with some of the lads. but with him, he was really good, But being secretary of Rosemount was. I had a traumatic event in '65, as we all know, the death of the great Tom King, and that was a very sad time. And trying to be secretary that time. Thank God that I had people in Rosemount to bail me out, during that time.
Yeah.
And I was on the team in '60. I think it was '67. Was there? We won the Fesh Cup, and that time the Fesh Cup was a very important competition because the championship was over and you had something else to play for. We won that year. So that was but we had great. Rosemount had went through some awful difficult times and not having enough of good players. But every lad who went out broke his neck to try and win for Rosemount. The jersey was always, to me, the jersey was everything. I lived and stepped by the jersey.
Yeah, it appears that football meant an awful lot to the people of Rosemount.
Oh, absolutely. And even though the fight one other about it, but gee, it was everything. And we had a few funny things. One time we were playing at Loan, and Ned Siri had relations down in Wexford, and two of those guys came up and played with us, and there were two county men. And
so 3 Ned series, had we?
I don't remember what names they were given, but that was how. Yeah. And another incident there in the 21 against Moat in the championship of '66, Kevin Kelly actually put out his finger, and they couldn't put it back in, so he was sent down to Dolan, Dr. Dolan in Moat. Dr. Dolan put his hand up on the table and hit him up the belt, and strapped 2 fingers together, straight back into the field, straight back in.
Back on to play.
Back on to play.
And Joe, you were on the team in '69 or?
'69. I played in a few games.
And what are your earliest memories of GA in Rosemount?
I have a lot of memories, but to get the right ones out. First match I went to, I don't know what year it was. Carney and all them and Tony Kelly playing. Well, what do you call him? Georgie Kane was playing. Sean Murray was playing. This particular day anyway. But all I know is that the boy, we were there and we were watching it up in the big hill at the time for the level of the whole place. Anyway, this ball came in anyway. The first, we were playing Moat. Criminals only had to right in the Moat at the time. And this ball came in and he got ahead and kicked it over the bar. There's a line and says, Priest or Parson, you won. Come in there, don't come in there again. So the next ball came in, he never passed on an action at all, and feminine, sailed in again, next thing he was carried off. Teddy line and left him in a hope. That's one of them, but there's a lot of them. Yeah. You were asking there about who was involved at the time, but Jack Harvey was well involved in that time, and Neil Gosson. Yeah. Ronnie Kelly was involved. Well, no, later on he came on. Yeah. But the older men was. Bruno was secretary back in those days too for a while, wasn't he? Kevin Kelly was, Finbar Kelly was involved, but he was only a young lad at the time. Yeah. But the older lads, there was a bunch of Usher, of course, Tom Byrne, all them boys were all involved. Yeah. Back in those days, Larry Dunnigan was heavily involved.
And then, Charlie, as the years went on, obviously, you mentioned '89 then. Yeah. It was obviously a great event. It's actually one of my first memories as well. Yeah. But what did it mean to the likes of you and Joe and the community?
It just meant everything because, I was a child. I mean, it wasn't long. I went through the 3 in a row team, and then of course you were always reminded about this. And then the sons came along with those teams, and you wanted desperately for them boys to get medals like their fathers before them, And it was. It was a great year that year because every game was different that they played in, and in fact there are some stories told about people leaving Cusie Park before the game was over against Moat, and then eventually I think the Docky he a couple of goals and we got the point they won the game that was that was just a great time and then the parish got so much behind that team. I don't know. I've never seen as much. I think it was Kilkenny for the Ireland with the black and amber everywhere. Everybody, even people who never bring a flag,
had flag up that day.
Yeah, and then of course the celebrations after were out of this world.
I'd say they went on for a few weeks.
Yeah, Jimmy Murray's brother, it was Martin, was it in the No, Eamon was in Mullingar. It was straight up to his place. She couldn't get into the place. That time was all about filling the cup with any sort of alcohol you could get, brandy mixed with everything else. Nobody cared. I know they were great times, and they were great people. Joe mentioned some of the people there. Like actually, the first time I ever was in when I saw Sonny Carney getting that goal. Jack Carney was actually in the goals.
Yeah.
They were great people too. Peter Farrell was another man now that you'd have to mention, because he was there for years. And then I watched Ben Hickey training Rosemount and Jack McNeil training Rosemount as a child. Yeah. We would be out when the ball would go to play. We'd kill one another to get we only won football that time. You'd kill one another to get at the ball, like, you know. And you look at them nowadays, and nearly a ball for every lad that goes out. But that time, if you didn't fight for the ball, you wouldn't get it, you know. So we used to love that. And one of the great things at that time you'd go to a holy hour on a Sunday evening, and you'd be in your Sunday best, and we would charge down to the park here, and we'd have goals made with your coats, and we would have an hour, and we'd be sweating like into 10 o'clock at night, and we'd be sweating, and we'd have some matches, and we didn't. The fact that we had supposed to have our good clothes on didn't matter to us. Well, I often would come and you'd be freezing because you'd be sweating. Like. Yeah. We had great fun, and we always tried to. The next match was the most important thing to us. Especially if you lost the game, you couldn't wait to the next one. Maybe, Then we had a bit of bad luck a few times. Like we got bit semi-finals and stuff. We had a controversy with the Downs. And, we had great players too. Lee Mullen especially was a very, very good player. At the time, when we wouldn't have somebody great, Jim King or the Merson, great footballer. Yeah. They were great lads. Yeah. Con King, there were some great lads. But I suppose one of the best displays we ever played, going back to the '69 team, was against that Loan. They were red hot favourites, and that was a great game of football. Down in Ballymore, and we beat them.
This is the under 21.
Yeah. I think it was one of the first match, maybe the quarter final. It wasn't the semi final.
It was the second game.
Second game. But anyway, whatever.
I was playing that.
It was unbelievable win that evening. We were very confident after that we could win the championship. Just we went up on a big step. And
that must have given the club a good boost. I think we won the Junior B that year as well. And
that's right. Yeah.
While it was a little while until we seen Flanagan back here, but. The minors, of course, in '81. Then
that's right. But there was a very good team in the '70s. I think we won the league. Now we got I don't know where we took the medals, but we got the medals we were in the final, and the other two teams were thrown out from whatever was going on at the time. Yeah. But that team was able to win that league, and being very lucky in that championship that year. Easily could have won a championship in the early '70s. You don't win it, but we had a chance.
Yeah. 72, you should have won.
Yeah.
So and Joe, apart from '89, then what other memories stand out for you over the years?
I remember one match where Tom Byrne was involved anyway. We were playing Ballycarrig, and Curlew was the sub, but he arrived anyway. The two of us, it wasn't senior, and it was a minor. I think it must have been minor or under 21. Could be under 21, but none of us had any gear. But this lad wasn't. Tom Byrne was there roaring, "Come on, Colin, come on." But sure, this lad won't let me in. Your man wouldn't let us in because we had no tickets or anything. Tom Byrne was going mad. Sure, he's our player. Tom Byrne went, "Sure, he's our player, that's what I mean." We got in with those on the team.
There was some characters still to this day, but there was some characters that have gone to their eternal rest.
Yeah, I'll tell you, probably the greatest character of all that I met, and I was so close to him as he brought me lots of places, was Frona. He was just, I'll tell you the story. We bet Milltown in the Under-21 Championship on a Friday night, and Westmeath were in the Leinster final, or no, semi-final. I don't know whether it's the final or semi-final. I can't remember which anyway. And on the Sunday, and Tullamore, the Sunday anyway. So Bruno said afterwards, I wasn't selected to play against Westmeath Westmeath were allowed to put out their second best team. I was on it, but then what happened was that we were playing in the All-Ireland Post Office final, which we won, and of course I opted to play for the Post Office, and I'd lost my place for Westmeath because of it. But anyway, Brona says, I'll let them go to hell, we'll go to Dublin. So Friday night we went to Dublin, we went to the Irish club, and then we were supposed to stay with Chris Devlin's place, but Brona had the wrong key, so we finished up staying with an aunt. But and it was still rain the Sunday morning, and Brona had a Mini, and we drove to Tullamore anyway, and my boots were still in the boot because Friday night was wet as well. And as we were going in the style, when Charlie told him, please go to the Westmeath dressing room, and I was handed number 13 jersey. Actually, it was a draw, and I actually got the equalising goal that day to draw the match. So Bruno got a great crack out of that. But he was. I don't think there was any person in this parish, and with respect to everybody, that ever contributed as much mentally and physically as Bruno. He was the heart and soul, the heartbeat of this place for so long. Such a genuine man, and such a character, and such a devil behind it all, you know.
Hello.
Yeah. But I just wanted to make sure I mentioned him tonight, because he was so good to me and brought me everywhere, and I had no car. And then Joe mentioned Finbar Kelly there. He came secretary after me, and he was another man. I had no car. He was always available.
He was some character.
Yeah. He was always available, and people misunderstood him. He was a very genuine man behind. You know, he might go 4 roads to get to one place, if you know what I mean. But he'd be sound at the back of it all, you know.
Don't get him with 2 car with him, that's all I did. On bad roads.
Yeah.
And I suppose then, in recent times, then obviously we had some success at junior and intermediate, and back up senior was great to see the club.
Great buzz.
Yeah, that gave us all a different. You know, from my perspective at my age, this is what you're looking for. You don't care whether it's junior or intermediate. You play wherever you're in, and you play with pride for your club. But it doesn't matter whether you're playing junior, senior, intermediate. It doesn't matter to me. You get out there and you try and win that game. And cheapers, that was the. And then we had a little bit of bad luck not to win the Leinster, hadn't we? When we won that division
A couple of times.
wasn't it? Yeah, just a little bit of bad luck. Yeah.
And
Great.
I suppose some of the stories you told, it obviously the GA and football means an awful lot to the people of Rosemount. Has that changed much over the years, or do you think it's still the same sort of interest in it?
I think this it's embedded in the people here, and I think that they'll carry on, you know, and there'll be a few leaders will always come through, and we've always had leaders, and like we've had them, and just George O'Kane created a fantastic outlet. You know, it wasn't easy to get picked for Westmeath if you're from Rosemount. Nobody noticed it. Mm-hmm. And then if you'll go back to the Westmeath minor team in '63, when we had Lord Mercy, Tom King again, and Kevin Kelly, I mean, they drove us wild for years after that. You know what I mean? Like, I could not wait to get on the Westmeath minor team after that, you know. And then, of course, I had a problem because I wasn't going to the Carmelite, I was going to the Tech. If you weren't going to the Carmelite, it was difficult to make the breakthrough. But anyway, during that, I don't know whatever game it was anyway, I was centre field for Rosemount seniors. And it was almost 16, it wasn't 17 anyway. And I must have played well, because there was a lad from Athlone lecture, and he went to Kremlin, and he said to Father Kremlin, he said, Charlie Tone's playing midfield for Rosemount, we've nobody else in the senior team, you know, we better get him in here. I'm not sure he's any good, he says. Father Kremlin says, hey. But anyway, our first day playing for Westmeath, I got 2 goals in the fight, so that was a good start.
Absolutely.
I that's not a boast, I just tell you as a fact, like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
You know, it was very hard to get from Rosemount to play with Westmeath, and that link between what we do here and what we're able to do and help with Westmeath. And look at John Kane, for example, like, you know, Jesus Christ, that we had an all-star, you know, and as somebody said, well, no, I actually said to the fellow one day, he said, you know, it was great nobody from Rosemount voted for him, nobody from Westmeath voted for him, so people out there could see what John Kane was about. Yeah. And like, that was just another great feather in the Rosemount psyche, like. And I think that's what keeps us going, the fact that we can look beyond ourselves, you know, do everything we can for Westmeath as well. You know what I mean? And I think that's the great thing about Rosemount. And I've been at all the matches this year, and the amount of people you'll see at the matches, brilliant.
And Joe,
It was a near match, the one in Port Lee. It was mad.
and tell me, over the years, I suppose you currently live in Tubber, and I think you lived in Moat for a while. I'd say
I was in Tubber 25 years ago.
you would have knocked a good bit of crack out of being a Rosie.
Oh, I never missed a match in Rosemount, went to where I lived.
Yeah.
Down the years. Now, in the last few years, maybe I might have managed them all right.
Yeah.
Getting a bit hound out being sitting out in the cold.
But I suppose no matter where you go, there'd always be a bit of crack and a bit of
There's
banter.
always a bit of banter. But there was great people in Rosemount back when I was a gossip.
Yeah.
Like to be, no matter how small you were or what you were, even in those days, and it was like all out, we were always looked after. Like Tony Kelly was a great man for Rosemount Club.
Yeah,
You could name, and you know what I mean, you could name a lot of people. You meet some men there, all them men that time were all great men, and they'll all look after you. Tony Kelly could have been in a van going to a match. You know, you'd be just rolling around the back of this van. You'd be more tired in the back of the van than you would be on the field. But it's facts,
Yeah.
you know. And he'd be running and racing the whole day, and be working plastering all day and farming in, and then he'd be off to the match. You couldn't want to get him in, Good memories of that, all right.
I actually learned a lot from Tony Kelly, you know, about how to get scores and stuff like that. He was very technically good. You have to keep up with him, but he'd be quite fast at what he was at. But again, like we were a very small pick, all of us, you know, and like the men in charge of trying to get the best they could out of him. Tony Kelly was to the fore in that, and he did an awful lot for Rosemount before. We had great people like Lord Mercy, Miss Malloy, you know, look at people like that. There's always great people.
Father was in the gate there with a bag for years.
Like
I was a gossip anyway. Rain, hail or snow, and he was standing with this big bag collecting money.
Well, it's amazing how like when I ultimately went to Dublin then, and you know, I don't know, like I was coming down here trying to train, and then you know, wages is bad. I had to work overtime. Not able to train properly, you know, but it was like your heart and soul was still in it. But when I eventually settled down, and I got involved with Lisa, and I was chairman of the football there for 14 years, and was director of coaching there for 12 of them years. So that kept. At the same time, I don't think I missed too many Rosemount matches. You know, now sometimes they clash with the Lisa when you couldn't. I was selected there for a couple of years, you know, that kind of thing. But what I learned here. So it carried me through, because I would never have gone involved with another club except the passion, you know. And then they had Westmeath jerseys, like they had the maroon and white jerseys, which was easier. As well, you know. And
then moving back down home, then obviously it was great to get involved again. And I think we spoke about with Jimmy Kane and John Burke about the social initiative.
Yeah.
You're both fond of now day away with
that was the best thing that ever. Now I don't go to many of them now, but I go to the night library. I'm not interested in looking at buildings and
you know, the day we went to Croke Park, for example, like we had all the cabinets there in Northern Mercy, and some of them were gone now. But one of the great things was that we got a photograph of Tom Darcy in the president's seat, and I think you probably have it here somewhere. But like there was a great crack about, and then on the bus with Kathleen and the crack and the doll, and so we had Paddy McCormick and TJ Finnan and those sort of people.
A great initiative.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Yeah,
and
well way at last.
And like it also took some people that would say would never go anywhere. You know, even the day trips, especially, where we got a person or one or two who said it would never be going anywhere. And then it was very funny. One of the first times we went away, we had a few people who weren't used to hotels, like. And then they got a card to get into the room, so we were kind of designated. You show this guy, you show this guy, you know. But you know, they all got the hang of it after a bit. But that was all part of the crack, like. And like, what was so important about that was that it was open, you know, to anybody and everybody, and you know, it's the people in charge of that, like Benny and John and Peter Mullen and Pete and all that, like the football. The Gaelic football world, as we say hurling football world, was central to everything they did. They had to have a GA club. They had to visit a GA club. Do you know? Like this is what and then we got a great chance to meet some great people, like, you know, I remember Bernard Brogan's, the old Bernard Brogan, the father, and then
Oh, I met him.
Billy Morgan down in Cork, and, you know, like several people that we met over the years.
Yeah.
And great crack. Down in Wexford too, with a couple of the hurler lads in Waterford. Jeez, then we had great crack with them. The women especially had great crack with them lads.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look, lads, thanks very much for your time.
Great.
It was great hearing some of your memories, and look, hopefully there'll be many more memories to be made.
That have